Today I'm going to show you guys how I made this felt pennant for my son's bedroom without using a Cricut and using the free version of Canva. I do not have Canva Pro, but I just opened up a plain document on Canva, the US letter landscape 11 inches by 8.5 inches. Then I went to elements and I typed in triangle, and I am just resizing the triangle to get that pennant shape, and I'm trying to fill up as much of the page as possible. Then I changed the color to white, which doesn't really matter ultimately, and then you're going to click that line button and give it some lines to fill. I just used the stroke weight of 1 just to make it really thin. Then you're going to go over to the left hand side and click on apps and type in Textsmith. Now, often when I see tutorials for a pennant like this and doing kind of warped letters to get that effect in the triangle, I see people talking about WordCraft. Now, this used to be free and now it is paid. You can only access it if you have Canva Pro. So if you do have Canva Pro, you may find it easier to use Wordsmith. But if you do not want to pay for Canva Pro, you can just use Textsmith. It is a little bit trickier, but as you can see, I just kind of use and just drag to get it into the shape that I want, that is kind of tapered at the ends to get it to fit in that triangle. And as you can see, I chose the font Jua, but you can do whatever font you want and it's still going to work the same way. Now I just download it and then I go to print it on my printer. If you don't have a printer, you could alternatively pull it up on an iPad or a computer screen and then kind of trace it from there onto a piece of paper. I did scale it to 115% just to kind of push it a little bit bigger, because I realized once I printed it at 100 scale, it was a little bit smaller than I wanted it to be. I had my toddler pick out the colors of felt he wanted. This is what he picked. And then I start off by cutting out the triangle, and I'm going to trace it onto my base piece of felt. I chose a kind of sturdier piece of felt from the craft store for this part. I think if you do the softer, floppier felt, that might be a little bit harder. And I just flip it over the opposite way and I am tracing it with a permanent marker, and then I'm going to cut along that line. I am working on the letters, and the same thing, I am flipping the letters over the opposite way so they look backwards. That way, when I go to cut out the letters, you will not see any of the permanent marker when I go to glue it on my pennant. I tried to be really precise about cutting out each letter. Since I didn't have a Cricut, I just tried to really take my time and make sure it looked really clean when I cut this out. And I flipped each letter over back the right way so that you cannot see any lines from the permanent marker, and I arranged them on my pennant how I wanted them, and I made sure they looked clean, or as clean as I could get them. I feel like whenever I look at a lot of pennants, they have this piece of felt that kind of goes along the short edge of the triangle. So my toddler wanted red, blue, and green, so I got some red, and I'm just using my piece of paper triangle to measure how long I need to cut that piece to. Next part is kind of optional, but I feel like a lot of pennants I see, they have these little tabs on the short end of the triangle, and I guess that would technically be used to kind of hold the pennant up. I think it's really just more for show these days. So I really just eyeballed this. I kind of made 4 little rectangles and just kind of arranged them into little V's that went along the short end of my triangle pennant. And also completely optional, some pennants I see, they have little decorations, maybe little stars, maybe little diamonds or something like that. And so I tried my hand at cutting out a few little diamonds, and I tried to make little stars. They didn't turn out as well. So I ultimately just made some little diamonds and just used this to kind of fill a little bit of the blank space on the pennant. Then once you have everything arranged how you want it, it is time to glue. Now I think the correct answer here would be to use fabric glue, but I used a hot glue gun because that's what I had, and it worked just fine. To hang this up on a wall, I just use command strips, but you can use whatever you want, and that's really all there is to it. It's actually a pretty easy craft, but I think it looks really cute, and it's a great way to save yourself money if you were like me and eyeing the ones on Etsy that cost a lot more than $3 in felt supplies at the craft store.